Hey, this is Mark Washington, MTC Media wrapping up Virginia's 67-41 win over Holy Cross. Certainly the Cavaliers took advantage of a team that is not as big, not as fast, obviously a team that is also much younger, and they did what they were supposed to do today. So when you get Day Ames shooting 6 for 9 from the field, including 2 for 2 from 3, 16 points, 1 assist, no turnovers, that makes this team so much different and so much harder to guard because they can get into their actions, as you can see, as they kind of get away from mover blocker and get more into continuity. They run a lot. Virginia runs a lot of continuity offense now, and not as much mover blocker as they did under Tony Bennett. Even though Dave Paulson talked about in the post-game press conference that there was a couple times they went back to the mover blocker concept and got some flare screens and a couple of open shots. Virginia was 9 for 25 from 3, and this is what makes this team, can make this team dangerous, is that when they are in their continuity and they are generating space. Something I talked about in the pregame, which was generating space, so then your guys' talent takes over. When they do that, they shoot 9 for 25 from 3. They're a tough team to beat. They're still as good defensively, maybe not exactly as they were under Tony Bennett. They get enough stops and they play well defensively enough. Now, there are going to be times where you have bad matchups. And this time of year, St. John's and Tennessee was bad matchups. And look, in March, St. John's and Tennessee can be bad matchups. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of, and I don't think that's also any reflecting of coaching. I think it's just one of those things of where you are in your recruiting, and whether that's via the portal, high school, it doesn't matter. But where you are in your playbook, where you are in putting in your philosophy. Let's not forget that Sanchez this is his first year of being in that first seat at Virginia. He's been a head coach before. Now, I'm telling you, I don't care how many times, how many games you have sat in seat 2 or seat 3, that first seat is different, especially in a place like this where you have a winning tradition and a coach that was not only loved by his players but loved by the university. So in that, to watch that the evolution of how he has changed the offense and how he has gradually changed it. It wasn't the very first day. You're seeing some of the actions, like I said, a lot of continuity, a lot of ball screens. I want to resist using the term that so many other people use, which is, they've modernized the offense. Because if there's something I spoke about before the season is, no matter what your offensive philosophy is, mover blocker, flex, it does not matter. There is enough flexibility in those offenses, especially with the three-point line and how that can be weaponized, and the whole concept of creating space, that you can still do things off of those things that make it look quote-unquote more modern when you're using some of those things conceptually. So going from mover blocker maybe to more continuity and more ball screens, it's a process, but it's a process that can be done, and this coaching staff is doing a good job doing it. Blake Buchanan, 6-6. Someone did ask about Blake before I could ask about Blake, and Coach Sanchez was talking about it's been a process. His role has changed. They want him to have a bigger role than what he had prior last year when he was a freshman. But as Sanchez explained, if you're asked to do something, let's make sure that you can do this and then move to the next step. And Blake is moving to these steps, just step by step by step. You heard in my pregame, I said it, I would love to see him touch the ball more. I think when he does touch the ball more, then, touch the ball more and get more shots are two different things, believe it or not. But when he does touch the ball more, it just makes the defense react. It's like a body shot. It makes the defense react. And so I think it's a positive for Virginia. And as the season goes on, maybe he does touch the ball more. And then in the ACC, when you're playing a team like Wake, when you're playing some of the better teams, that's going to help. He doesn't have to score 15 points and grab 10 rebounds for him to be effective. Is what I'm saying. Outside of Ames, Isaac McNeely was 3 for 9 from 3. He was 4 for 11 overall. He had some really, really good looks. Off of their actions, he was wide open. Virginia, just like most teams, not saying anything that people who aren't basketball people already know. When you're Virginia and you don't have that dynamic, I can beat you off the dribble anytime I want type of guy. When that ball reverses sides of the floor, especially when the defense is already moving and now it's reversed and you have them in rotation, the world opens up. And for McNeely and Rhodey, especially Rhodey had a great shooting day, 5 for 8, 3 for 5 from 3. When you're those guys and you're catching the ball off a ball reversal and the defense is already in rotation, I mean, you can be effective now. It becomes a shooting gallery. There was several times, especially in the first half, where Virginia ball reverses into a 2-on-1 situation where the ball, you are making the defender with 2 3-point shooters out on the perimeter. You're making that defender make a decision because it's one guarding two. You know, am I stunting that? Am I closing out hard and making them one more pass? Is my rotation going to be there if I do that? If I'm stunting it, what does it say in the scouting report? I can't stun it if it's McNeely, but if that's McNeely and then you have someone like Rhodey in the corner, you know, you're making a decision, or vice versa. You're making a decision on how you're going to play that based on your scout. And then you have to trust that your teammates are also following the scout, whether that's a hard closeout, soft closeout, it doesn't matter. When Virginia is doing that and they're getting that 2-on-1 situation and they're weaponizing the 3 like they've weaponized the 3 this season, they become a more dangerous offense. Now, you take that more dangerous offense and you put it down with their defense still being as solid as it is, and the way the ACC is looking so far, remember, Virginia was picked 5th. And then when Bennett left, people kind of say, oh, you think they'll still be 5th? Oh, this team can certainly do it. They can end up being in the top 5, maybe even the top 3 if they shoot the ball well, if they keep the defense out here. And that ball reverses, Virginia is going to be a pain in the rear. Now, we're going to see how much the Cavaliers have come along from the Bahamas. Obviously, the Tennessee and St. John's games is something that you'd like to learn and then kind of throw it in the trash. Florida is upcoming. And I'm going to tell you what, the Gators are going to push the ball. They also have bigs that can get inside. They're lightning quick out on the perimeter with their guards. I mean, what Florida did to Wake. And Wake got off to a great start, and then Florida just wore them down, and it just kept going fast, until Wake just kind of broke down. And then once Wake broke down, Florida pulled away, and that's what's up next for Virginia. Can the Cavaliers have the game at the pace, the tenor, the level of physicality that they want to play this game? Because that's going to be important. This is Mark Washington wrapping up here from Charlottesville. Once again, Virginia 67, Holy Cross 41.